All right, let's talk a little bit about the Tigers now. 98-game losers last year, minimal star power. So you have to ask questions about who and what is going to show up. Brad Galli in Lakeland tonight. And the first question I have for you, Brad, is Miguel Cabrera. He can be a Triple Crown winner or a guy that's been inconsistent with injuries. What kind of Miggy are we going to see in 2019?
Yeah, how Miguel Cabrera bounces back from his ruptured bicep tendon is the Tigers' biggest question this season, and I think across baseball it's one of the biggest questions in the entire game. And I know that we all know this Tigers team isn't going to do anything, but Cabrera is a generational talent, a guy that everybody said when this last Hall of Fame class came out, Miguel Cabrera will be there someday. But he's got 5 years and $154 million left on his contract. He's not going to Cooperstown anytime soon. He's going to be with this Tigers team for a long time. And as they take strides and start to really kind of take away pieces and look towards the future, he's a guy that's got to help usher in the next era like he started when he was acquired from the Marlins. Consider this, though. 3 of the last 4 seasons, he has not reached 500 at-bats. The only other time that's met that number in his career, his rookie season in Miami. Production has been the name of the game for Miguel Cabrera. Staying healthy has been his Achilles heel in Detroit the past couple seasons.
Now, of course, Brad, every single opening day roster is not what the roster looks like even halfway through the season, but could there be some potential movement even earlier on from that? Obviously, Nick Castellanos has dominated the headlines so far this offseason.
Short answer right now, nobody. Nick Castellanos was the name that's been floated out publicly by Al Avila. It almost seems like he knows teams don't want to acquire outfielders. I mean, you see the movement in baseball this year. Frozen as ever. Last year was an indictment on what this system is. It seems like the next CBA is going to be a really big stalemate between the Players Association and the owners. But to answer the question, really, who the Tigers can trade, Castellanos is the big piece who reported to Tigers camp today and said his agent saying that he wanted to have his client dealt before camp begins. Those are his words. He's just here trying to be a winning ball player. Michael Fulmer is another piece to this puzzle that we thought for the last couple years could have gone somewhere. The former Rookie of the Year and All-Star pitcher has really been a shell of himself. An ERA last year that exceeded his career low. What we saw to Michael Fulmer his first couple years is something he hopes to dial back in and get back this year. He's been down in Lakeland working out with the staff and working out, just trying to get his body right and getting his body consistent and getting that throwing motion down for months. If Fulmer can regain some of that form, I would not be surprised if Al Avila tries to move him early on in this season. But they went out and tried to get some more pieces. Tyson Ross, Matt Moore, a couple of arms that are kind of seen as some bounce-back guys. Again, the production not there from them the last couple of seasons for each pitcher. Injuries getting in the way, slowing down what looked like some positive signs early in their career. If they can regain any of their form and maybe a contender down the road this season is looking to add an arm, you're looking at maybe a piece or two down the road at the trade deadline. But really what you see is what you get with this Tigers team. There are no big pieces that people are going to jump out and try to grab and then hand a bunch of prospects. The Tigers are going to have to build from within, and they're going to have to build through the draft.
But fans are going to be fans and want to know what the expectations are for this 2019 Tigers team. What can we realistically expect from a group that's probably in the midst of a rebuild?
We know what a party opening day is in Detroit, right? It's one of the biggest holidays really in our city unofficially. People are going to show up year in and year out for this Tiger baseball team. But what's so interesting, they know they're not going to win. And even with that hope last year during the Rally Goose time in May when things were looking good and it was kind of a party at Comerica Park, in the back of your head, the forefront of your mind, winning wasn't going to be an option down the road. And Al Avila said it himself this offseason. Don't look for big spending from this club until 2021 or 2022. There's a sign on the Tigers clubhouse door. Anthony Fennick wrote this week from the Free Press, said it's the Commissioner's Trophy handed to the World Series champion. Believe that you can win this. Believe this can be us, or don't walk through these doors. Tigers aren't going to win a World Series this year. I think point blank that's pretty obvious. But as they try to instill a winning attitude and a culture around this next era, as most of the stars are gone, that's the type of attitude they're trying to instill. And Matt Boyd told me as he stopped by our studios this year on the Winter Caravan, we believe we can win. And bottom line, when I talked with him, he's got a family to feed. He's got a wife to try to provide for and a baby to try to provide for. And I know it sounds silly because the contracts are so big in comparison to what you and I make each and every day, what everyone else makes in this city. But these guys are trying to make a name for themselves as ball players. And so even as Castellanos reported today and trade talks are imminent with him, apparently, or maybe he's not going anywhere, he still has to be a ball player each and every day. So these guys are going to go out and try to make names for themselves the way Jacoby Jones got hot last year at certain points, the way Jamer Candelario tried to bounce out of cold streaks last season, and the way we saw a guy again in Boyd who really made some strides last year. I think that sign speaks wonders and volumes to the culture they're trying to establish here. The problem is those winning ways and the actuality of that trophy aren't coming anywhere soon. It's going to be fun. We're going to be down here all week providing coverage. Look forward to bringing you some throughout the week. Every platform you can find us, on the air, on TV. I'll send it back to you.